Hi students, I welcome to all of you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning. Myself Dhiraj Mondal, Assistant Professor JIS College of Engineering, Mechanical Engineering Department. Today I am going to discuss about the vapor compression refrigerant system for different condition. We will be discussing when the vapor is dry, when the vapor is wet, when the vapor is superheated. After compression, then what will be the condition, what are the factors which are affecting the COP of a vapor compression refrigerant system will be discussed. So let us start. First of all, I would like to say that this is my YouTube channel, DM Study Center. You can subscribe this channel and press the bell icon to get everyday notification. The lecture related to refrigeration, fluid mechanics, fluid machinery, constitution. Okay, so these are the lectures which are available. Material handling lecture is taken by Palash Vishwas, Palash sir. Then your Dr. P.K. Bardhan is taking advanced manufacturing process. Palash sir also taking reliability, quality and reliability subject. Okay, so you can avail this subject. Okay, in DM Study Center. Now today, and this is the Telegram channel for PDF and notes. This is my mail ID. Submit the assignment in this mail ID and phone number. Any kind of admission and subject related issue you can call me or you can WhatsApp me. In case if you want to join Mechanical Engineering Department, JIS College of Engineering, this is the phone number and email ID and college website. You can visit accordingly. Vapor compression refrigerant system. As you know, last class I have discussed the basic concept of vapor compression refrigerant system. How vapor is compressed and how the heat is basically rejected to the surrounding, and whereas a lower temperature region is maintained in evaporator section. So that was discussed in the previous lecture. I hope it is clear. Merits and demerits also discussed. Factors, function of parts of the simple vapor compression refrigeration system also discussed. Today we will be going to discussing about the simple vapor compression refrigerant cycle on temperature entropy diagram. So you know that TS diagram is the temperature entropy diagram, is the representation of the heat transfer, and if it is TS diagram and this is your vapor dome, this is your critical pressure, this is your liquid zone, vapor zone, liquid plus vapor zone. Okay, this line is called your saturated liquid line, and this line is called saturated vapor line. Okay, this line is your saturated vapor line, this line is your saturated liquid line. Now what happened when the in the evaporation is taking place, in the compression is taking place, then condensation in condenser, then expansion in expansion valve or throttling valve. Okay, throttling device. Okay, so what happened actually, you know that TS diagram is the representation of the heat transfer. So let us consider 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how the particular cycle is operating. So 1, 2, 2 is your evaporation. Here mainly what happened, this amount of heat is extracted. So what happened in this region, what we will see that Q2 amount of heat is extracted, here compression is taking place, and here Q1 amount of heat is rejected, and this is your isenthalpic process. In constant enthalpy the particular heat is, that means what represent is expanded. Okay, now the condition is when the vapor is dry and saturated at the end of the compression. So already you know that this is your saturated vapor line, this is your saturated liquid line, this is your saturated vapor line. Now when this is your condition, then what will happen, what is the COP, that we have to determine. So first of all you tell me, if it is your saturated vapor line and if it is your saturated liquid line, then in this point total liquid will be there, and in this point total in the mixer it will be total vapor, and in this point here 50% liquid and 50% vapor will be there, isn't it? So when this condition appears, when the vapor is dry and saturated, so actually what happened, again I am telling you, this is your TS diagram. Now if you are heating up, if 0 degree centigrade ice to 0 degree centigrade water you need to produce, then you have to apply some latent heat, then it will make 0 degree centigrade water. Now this 0 degree centigrade water, if you again heating up, then the temperature is raising by taking sensible heat, and it will reach 100 degree centigrade water. Then again you are heating up, then it will take some latent heat and it will reach up to the vapor point, okay, saturated vapor line. So it is your 100 degree centigrade vapor. Now again you are heating up, this is the condition, superheated condition. Okay, so if you are drawing the TS diagram, so it will be like this. So this is the sensible heat, this is your latent heat, this is your again sensible heat. Clear? Now when the particular water is coming here in a particular pressure, this is 100 degree centigrade water, then again you are heating up, it is taking some latent heat and it is reaching here in this point number B. So here it is your saturated vapor line in this particular pressure, so it is your dry vapor. Now again you are heating up, it is your superheated or steam. Okay, if you touch that particular steam, your finger will burn. Okay, so this is the condition. Now the condition here it is given when the vapor is dry, that means there is no moisture or no water content there. When the vapor is dry saturated at the end of the compression, that means here it is your dry saturated, that means it is falling in the saturated vapor line. So what will be the condition? So at that time you can see this is the TS diagram, and 1 to 2 is your evaporation, 2 to 3 is your compression, 3 to 4 is your condensation, 4 to 1 is your expansion. So this is the net heat. So Q2 amount of heat is extracted, WC amount of work is done, Q1 amount of heat is rejected, and this is your isenthalpic process. Okay, so what is COP? COP is the desired effect by work input. So what is the desired effect? Q2 is the desired effect. So Q2 by WC is the COP. So work, and Q2 is what? Q2 in terms of enthalpy, if I want to put in terms of enthalpy, then if I'm just in this region, if I'm applying the steady flow energy equation, then H1 is entering plus Q2 is entering and coming, H1 is coming out. So Q2 is equal to H1 minus H1 H2 oh H2 na. So Q2 is equal to H2 minus H1. Can I write this? So Q2 is equal to COP is equal to Q2 by WC. So Q2 is equal to H2 minus H1, and the work input is your 2 to 3. So again, if I am just applying steady flow energy equation, then 2 plus H2 is equal H2 plus WC is equal to H3. So WC is equal to H3 minus H2. So this is the COP. H1 can be written as also HF4, because H1 is in the position 4 and for position 1 the enthalpy is same. Okay, so that is why it can be written as that H1 a COP is equal to, this is the COP heat extracted of refrigerant effect by work done. So COP is the H2 minus H1 by H3 minus H2. So H2 minus H4 is F4 minus H3 minus H2 is the COP. Okay, as we know that H1 is equal to H4, that means your throttling process. This is the throttling process. See, H is equal to U plus PV. Now U is equal to internal energy and this is the pressure volume. So that means what happened at the time of this process, the internal energy, if internal energy increasing, that pressure volume product is decreasing. If pressure volume product is increasing, then it will increase. Okay, so like this the particular H will be remain constant. Now the condition is superheated. If this is the condition, superheated condition, that means at the outlet what we are getting is 3. So and it is your superheated condition, then what will be the COP? Again COP is equal to the heat extracted by work done. So this is the heat extracted, H2 minus H1, and what is the work done? H3 minus H2. Now the question is coming, how we can calculate this H3? H3 can be written as H3 dash plus mCp delta T. This is your heat, sensible heat. So Cp T superheated minus T saturated. Okay, and H3 dot is the enthalpy of dry and saturated vapor at point 3 dot. Okay, so this is how you can find out. Now the question is coming, how is you can find out the H3 dot. So here basically H3 is equal to what? HF4 plus X3, again I am writing H3 is equal to, you can write HF4 plus X3 into HFG3. That means H3 is the summation of enthalpy in the point 4 plus into X3, the X3 is the dryness fraction, into H3 minus H4, HF4, whatever. So this is how we can find out the H3, because you know the dryness fraction. What is the dryness fraction? Dryness fraction is the ratio of the amount of vapor in the total mixture. So in this position there may be 50% dry vapor or dry refrigerant, that means 50% liquid, 50% water, 50% your vapor. So how much the particular refrigerant is dry, that is determined by the dryness fraction. Okay, so that is why similarly if I want to find out the H3, then H3 can be found out as H2 is equal to what? HF1, that means up to this position, plus X2 is the dryness fraction into Hg minus Hf, that means your latent heat, and H3 is equal to what? Hf4 plus X3 into Hg3 minus Hf4. So what is this Hg3 minus Hf4 and Hg2 minus Hf1? It is equal to latent heat in this particular portion. This is your latent heat. This one is also latent heat. Okay. So this is how we can calculate the particular enthalpy. So next we will be discussing it again when we will be solving the numerical. Similarly here how we can find out this one, H1, H2, H3, H4, how we can find out? Either H1 and H4 also, either one will be given or the particular pressure and temperature will be given. By the help of Mollier chart and by the help of refrigeration table, you can find out the particular H1. Okay, or H1 or H4 is same and maybe it will be given. Okay, in a particular saturation temperature H4 will be given. This is the saturation temperature T1, this is the saturation temperature T superheated, T3 here, and this is your T1, T2. Okay, so H1 is equal to H4, you know, and if you need to find out the H2 is equal to H1 F1 plus X2 is the dryness fraction into Hg2 minus Hf1. So this value will be given. Okay, these are the value, that means enthalpy in the when it is dry, the refrigerant is dry, and this enthalpy when the refrigerant is liquid. So this is all about the enthalpy at point 2. I hope it is clear. Now come to the next point, and when you are going to find out H3, AMCP delta T you have to add. Okay, so when the vapor is superheated after compression, this is the condition. That means why I am discussing this one, when you are solving this the numerical, then it will be asked that if the vapor is superheated after compression, then what is the COP and all this. So you need to draw this temperature entropy diagram. Again I am telling you, this is your temperature, this is your entropy. Now this is your vapor dome, like this. Okay, vapor dome, and this is your superheated temperature. This is your T1, this is T2, liquid line, vapor saturated vapor line, evaporation. Here this Q2 amount of heat is extracted. This is the refrigeration effect. Compression, here WC amount of work is done. Condensation, Q1 amount of heat is rejected, and expansion, that is your isenthalpic expansion. Okay, so here enthalpy remain constant and suddenly the particular refrigerant is expanded. So these are the condition and these are the entropy, temperature entropy diagram. By the help of this you can find out the COP. Next condition and very very important condition, when vapor is wet after compression. That means if you are compressing again, still it is wet, that means it is not reaching to the saturated vapor line. So at that time what will happen, again COP is equal to H2 minus H1 by H3 minus H2. So this is the COP. Now what happened, if you need to find out H3 and H2, H2 is equal to, already I have told, H2 is equal to H1 HF1 plus X2, that means this X2 into HFG2. Okay, again I am drawing, this is your TS diagram. Now the condition is like this: 1 2 3 4. Now you tell me, if you need to come up to this much, then you have to travel from here to here, then here to here. So this is your H, this one is your HF1 plus, that means enthalpy of the fluid at point 1, plus this much you have to travel, this is your latent heat. How much latent heat? Dryness fraction x2, that means if it dryness fraction 1, then no need to put dryness fraction. So dryness fraction into Hg2, that means this is the percentage of percentage. Okay, dryness fraction, let us consider 0.8 like this, then 0.8, that means 80% of this total. So this total is your Hg2 minus Hf1, isn't it? This is the total latent heat, na? So this is how we can calculate how much latent heat we are getting. Okay, so this is all about the H2. Now let us discuss about the H3. H3 is equal to, again we can write HF4 plus X3 into Hg3 minus HF4, because this is the difference of the latent heat. So ultimately H3 is equal to HF4, you can find out from the temperature, saturation temperature line and pressure, plus X3 into HFG3. So this is the latent heat. So this is how we can find out. Now one more question arising, that said how we can find out this dryness fraction X3 if it is not given. So how we can find out? We know that S1 is equal to S2 in between two line 2 to 3, isentropic process, na? So isentropic compression, so S1 is equal to S2, so S2 is equal to S3, I'm sorry, S2 is equal to S3. Okay, now how we can find out S2? Because S2 is equal to, we know that SF1 plus X2 into SFG2. Now this X2 is given, SF1 you can find out because you know the saturation temperature, SFG2 you can find out because you know the saturation temperature. So you can easily find out S2, am I right? So S2 you can easily find out because dryness fraction is also known. Now come to my point, how if once if S2 you have got, then how you can find out S3? So S2 already I have got, S3 is equal to, again S3 is equal to SF4 plus X3 into uh, 1 minute please, X3 into SFG3. Am I right? So SF4 you can find out from the refrigeration table. Then X3 you need to find out, X2 you know, and SF4 you can find out, SG3 you can find out from the refrigeration table. This is how you can find out the X3 dryness fraction. Or in other way you can find out, you know that entropy is the heat content, okay, dq by T, or you can write ds is equal to entropy difference is equal to HFG by T. That means latent heat by temperature. So latent heat you can find out at that particular temperature, you can find out the delta S, okay, and delta S is equal to S, that means the temperature difference, this is the delta S. So this is how you can find out, because SFG is equal to what, HFG by T, okay. So this is the process how we can find out the H3, X3, H3 and all this. HF4 is also you can find out from the steam table. So what is the COP? COP is equal to H2 minus H1 by H3 minus H2. So here you can see COP is equal to heat extracted by work done, and it is equal to area 21 G F2, okay. So this area by area, this area 2 3, okay, 2 3 4 B, you can see here 2 3 4 B 2 dash. So this is the area. So this is our work done, actually heat extracted, this mass amount of heat is extracted from the system, and this mass amount of H2 minus H1 is your extracted, and H3 minus H2 amount of heat is work is done on the system. Now let us discuss about the pressure enthalpy chart. So this is also a important pressure enthalpy chart, pressure temperature entropy chart. These are the diagram used for analyzing the refrigeration cycle, and we can find out some ECOP. So these are the line, this is your pressure line, this is your enthalpy line. Now this pressure enthalpy line here, you can see this is your constant pressure line, and this was your constant enthalpy line. So ultimately this line is like this. So here if I am just drawing the PV diagram, pH diagram, so this line will be like this, whatever. So this is your constant temperature line, constant temperature line, constant pressure line, constant enthalpy line, saturated liquid line, and here it is your saturated vapor line, is a dry saturated line here. So this diagram will be like this, it will be like this. This is your saturated liquid, this is your saturated liquid line, this is the saturated vapor line, and if I am drawing the PV diagram, it will be like this, pH diagram, it will be like this, 1 2 3 4, or in case of TS diagram it will be like this, okay, 1 2 3 4. It is not like this, as it is superheated condition, so it will be like this, okay, 1 2 3 4, okay. So pH diagram is basically represents the pressure enthalpy, how much in with respect to pressure and enthalpy, what is the condition, temperature, specific volume, constant entropy, okay, constant entropy, constant temperature, specific volume, all these you can find out from the pressure enthalpy diagram, okay. So only that means that two parameter is given, that is your pressure and enthalpy with respect to these properties, pressure and enthalpy. That means restricting these two properties, you can find out the third property, okay. The condition of refrigeration in any thermodynamic state can be represented at a point on the pH chart. Okay, the point on the pH chart that represents the condition of the refrigerant in any one particular thermodynamic state may be located in any two properties of the refrigerant for the state are known. I hope it is clear. So what I have discussed, that is written here. You can go through this one, and also vapor compression refrigeration cycle or pH chart. This is the pH diagram. So what I have discussed, that is it is a throttling process, evaporation, and this one is your compression, this is your condensation, this is your volume line, saturated volume line, entropy line, okay, temperature line. So this is your simple vapor compression cycle on pH chart. And what is the COP? Refrigeration effect by work input, again simple, H2 minus H1 by H3 minus H2. So this is all about the vapor compression refrigeration cycle on pH chart. Okay, so remember, this one is your constant temperature line, this is your constant entropy line, constant volume line, this is your saturated liquid line, saturated vapor line. Okay, next class we will be discussing about the factors affecting the performance of a simple vapor compression refrigerant system. So you just go through it. If you don't know the pH diagram, how it is drawn, so please go through the thermodynamics subject, very important, thermodynamics. Without the knowledge of thermodynamics, you can't understand what I am discussing right now, because many of students I know, you don't know the pH diagram, TH diagram, and PV diagram and all this. So please see the your vapor power cycle in the thermodynamics, then it will be more clear. Today up to this, thank you for listening. Jai Hind.